Hi to all. In this quick video, we will cover two problems where we will calculate the forward price. In the first one, we will calculate the forward price of a commodity. In the second one, we will calculate the forward price of a stock, right? So, very important. I would like to just share and start by just summarizing how we can get the value, or not the value but the price of a forward contract when we are working with a commodity. So it is quite simple actually, because then the formula to get this expectation of this price at time t, we can get this by adding a couple of things. The first one is the spot price that we're going to call S0. But then after the spot price, we have a couple of things. One of them is the financial cost. So we're going to have this I, which represents an interest rate. And then we multiply this by S0, which is the amount or the value, the price of the commodity or underlying or asset today. And next we have something called storage cost. So we have this storage cost, and when we calculate these two things, storage and financial cost, right? So we have financial cost, we have storage cost. When we add the two things together, we have something that is usually known as cost of carry, right? And usually it is represented by this symbol theta. Even though this is just notation, you can find this same thing being referred to with other symbols or a different notation as well. And then if we are assuming that we do have a risk premium, then we are going to have this risk premium. And this risk premium, many times it is represented by this symbol phi, right? So now we have the complete formula, and I'm just reviewing what the formula is. You can see it more clearly on canvas, but the whole point is that we should keep this in mind. One last thing I was almost forgetting, that if you have something that can be considered a benefit of carry, then we should subtract it, right? So if we're working with a commodity and there is some income that is the result of holding this asset, then we can define this as a benefit of carry. It is more clear it is easier to understand this when we are actually talking about a stock. And of course, as we know, if you're holding the stock, then you are entitled to receive the dividends. So a dividend is a benefit of carry, right? And if we're looking at an equity portfolio where we have more than one stock, we have a large number of stocks, of course, then we will not think about this in a discrete way, but we would rather think about this using this yield, right? So which we will call convenience yield. But let's go back to the two problems we are working on. Let's go back to our Excel, and as a matter of fact, I'm going to copy this formula so we can paste that in Excel. So now I'm going to move back to our Excel, and as a matter of fact, I'm going to paste here these formulas that we had in the whiteboard. Okay. Now I want to keep this a video short, so let's just when we are reading, let's just work on it, right? So when we read this problem in the practice quiz or the quiz, let's just type the different variables that we are being given. So for example, we have contract size, which is 5,000 bushels, right, of wheat. And next we have we have a delivery time, delivery date, and we know that the delivery is 1 year from now. Next we have the spot price. and the spot price is basically $9, and that is the price of the each bushel of wheat today. Now, if we store 5,000 bushels of wheat for 1 year, this is going to you're going to face a cost of $244. This is for the 5,000 bushels, right? So storage, let's say it's a 244, but for 5,000 bushels of wheat, right? And then the interest rate is 5%. So the moment we have this, right, if we start thinking about this, we already have all the values we need to get the price for this forward contract, or the forward price, considering the forward price for each bushel of wheat. Let's do it quickly. So then the forward price for this commodity in particular, right? And if first let's look at each one of the bushels of wheat, and then whatever we will multiply that by 5,000, or conversely, let's just work with the whole contract, and then we will also see the price for each one bushel of wheat. So we have, if we follow the formula, our spot price is $9, and then we have something which is the financial cost, and the financial cost is basically 5%. Because the delivery is taking place 1 year from now, we can basically we will need to, our financial cost will be 5%, right? So it would be basically 5% times the $9. But this we can just simplify it and say $9, and then multiply this by 1 plus the 5%, right? So now we have a financial cost covered according to this formula. Now let's add the storage. We have a problem because the storage is given for all of the 5,000 bushels of wheat. So let's leave that for the end. And then we have risk premium. And if we look at the question, there is one portion of the question that we have right by the end, which is, given that there is a possibility of shortage, we are advised to add $1,000 as a premium to compensate for price uncertainty. Finally, what is the total price we should advise? Right? So let's we have this forward price. So for the entire contract, then we can simply multiply 9.45 by the number of bushels of wheat in our contract. So we end up having 47,250. And the next, we can add the storage. So we will add the storage. If you want, we can include this risk premium that we are given. So then we can just add this risk premium, and we can add this storage. So basically that's it. There we go. That is the price for the entire contract. So that is the price for the total price for the contract. And we can contract price total, which is going to be this, or we can have the forward price per bushel, which is basically this, then divided by 5,000, right? So it's 9.70. So there we go. We have our price for each one of the bushels of wheat, and we also have a total contract price. In each of the questions, I will always give you the hint, but when we are talking about the forward price, usually we refer to the forward price as the price for each one of the bushels, regardless of the contract size. Now, if we think about stocks, and now I have switched to this the other problem with the shares of 100 shares of Pepsi, right? So now if I'm going to copy the formula again, so we bring it here, and when we see this formula, a lot of things do not apply, like storage cost does not apply, and then the risk premium. One interesting thing is that when we look at this financial cost, in the case of stocks, that financial cost already includes this risk premium, so we don't have to add it separately. And the benefit of carry is the dividend. So let's just type all of the values we see in this question. So we have delivery, which is 3 months, and then we have a contract size again, and the size is 100 shares of Pepsi, right? And the next, that should not be so, okay. Now it looks a little better. And now spot, the spot, we can refer to stocks, the price of stocks today as the spot price for that stock as well. So the spot is a term that you can use for both commodities as well as a stock. And then the spot price of the stock here is 140, which is the price that the stock is trading for today, and the relevant interest rate is 5%. There we go. Now the dividend. Now this is a discrete dividend stated in dollar terms. If we are working with a portfolio or an index, or we want to know the forward price of an index, equity index, for example, then we would not see a dollar dividend, but we would rather see a convenience yield. Okay, but that's not relevant in this particular problem. So when we calculate now this forward price for this stock, of course, the only thing we need to do is, number one, the spot price, and then we're going to add the financial cost. So in this case, it is not a whole year, so it is not as simple as multiplying by 1.05. In this case, we will have forward price. In this case, we will have the spot, and then we will multiply by 1 plus the rate, but we acknowledge that it is not a full year, so we're not going to raise this to the power of 1 anymore, but instead we're going to raise this to the power of how much is 3 months out of a whole year. It's a quarter, right? So we can do it in a couple of ways. We can do it 3 divided by 12. We can do 90 divided by 360, right? We can do 0.25 directly, right? But the long story short, because we already have 3 months here, we can say 3 divided by 12, right? We are raising to the power of 0.25. So now we have accounted for the financial cost, right? And we do not have a storage cost, and the financial cost is therefore the same as the cost of carry. So we already have the cost of carry. The risk premium is already included in the same rate. That 5% will include the risk premium in the case of stocks. And the only thing we have to do left is subtract this dividend here. There we go. Now that's the forward price pair for each stock, right? But if you would like to know the forward price total of the contract, total forward price, or in other words, I mean, what is the amount of money that will be needed for the entire contract upon delivery, Then we just need to multiply this by the contract size, and the contract size in this case is 100, so we end up with 13,771.81. Let's keep in mind this formula, you can find it on Canvas, and you can find many other details and more information. I would encourage you to go to that module and read that information. So I wish you all the best. I hope this was helpful. Let's keep in touch.